Hey Internet, Eric here. I think I mentioned it in a previous video. Going to take a little break from Rocky because the Iron Claw, as of this recording, has come out. And I did a little YouTube short on initial thoughts right out of the theater. A couple days I'll have an actual video on it. But I figured, you know what? To get me in the spirit of dealing with the Von Erich story, I'm going to talk about another film that deals with wrestling but is not about wrestling, kind of like what the Iron Claw is, and what Rocky is about too. You know, Rocky is about a boxer, but it's not a boxing movie. We're gonna get right into it. To prep for the Von Erichs and the Iron Claw, I'm discussing 2008's The Wrestler. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. Basic plot of this is Mickey Rourke plays Randy the Ram Robinson, a former big name in the 80s when it comes to wrestling, and it's now present day, and he's now working the 9 to 5, struggling to get along, wrestling on the weekends, and he's still, he's trying to deal with the fact that his time has passed. And he has no relationship with his daughter, because of being on the road so much. He's trying to repair that. He has a friendship that is bonded with this stripper played by Marissa Tomei. And eventually, he gets an offer to face the Ayatollah, his main nemesis from the 80s. And while that happens, he has a heart attack and a basic come-to-Jesus moment where he can't do it anymore. And the film is him trying to repair relationships, perhaps start relationships, and deal with the fact that he's not who he used to be. It's Darren Aronofsky, okay? So you know what you're getting into. Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan. This is the same thing. It's not a feel-good movie, but it's a fantastic movie. First off, Mickey Rourke. I don't know a lot about Mickey Rourke. I mean, I love him in Sin City. Other than that, I was never there in his heyday. Not, 9.5 weeks, any of that stuff. Mickey Rourke, I knew was from like The Expendables, Sin City, that shitty Van Damme movie, Double Team. You know what I mean, with Dennis Rodman, or Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. The man is fantastic in this. He does a great job of just showing a man down on his luck, wishing who he currently was is still the person in the past, and coming to terms with that. There are great scenes when he's breaking down crying. I love the scene, it's in the trailer. I love the scene where he's talking to his daughter, and he's trying to repair that relationship that was just destroyed because he was never there. And he basically says, he looks at her, he takes her to the boardwalk because that's where they used to go when she was little, and he's trying to spark, what used to be inside her, her love for daddy. And he looked at her and he has a speech, I'm just an old broken down piece of meat, and I ruined your life. I was never there. I just don't want you to hate me. You know what I mean? And he's doing his best, and he's got that single tear, and he's doing his best to try to repair that. He's coming to terms with what he did or what he didn't do, in her life. But Mickey's so good. I love his chemistry with everybody. His chemistry is great with Marissa Tomei. She's his only female, in his life, and he's falling for her because how could you not? But he's doing this. He's so awkward. You know what I mean? I love. There's a scene where he's dancing to, is it Rat? Round and round. In the bar because he convinces her to go shopping to help him find something for his daughter, and then he's trying to break the ice, and then it's really awkward. He's a dork, dancing. It's Mickey Rourke dancing in a bar with just Marissa Tomei. He's such a big dork, but he's likable. And I love how eventually, he does have to retire because he has a death match, which is fucking nuts. He has a death match with Necro Butcher or MAGA Butcher currently in XPW. Shout out to Whitey the White Guy. I'll never forget how in his review of The Wrestler, he thought Necro Butcher was actually Dustin Diamond. Anyways, and he has a heart attack in the locker room after the match. And he knows he has to retire. So what he's looking for, what he's doing is he needs extra bucks. He works at like a grocery store. and he has to have, he has to work the deli. And at first, you can tell he doesn't like doing it. He hates doing it. It's beneath him. He hates the fact that his name tag is Robin instead of Randy. Robin Ramzinski is when they call him for his heart pills. No, it's Randy. So, but then he has that turn. You know what I mean? He accepts it, and he's starting to have a lot of fun with the customers. And I love that scene, how he's got life again. He's got pep in his step, you know what I mean? For a lame term. And then, if you know Aronofsky, he has that breakdown, and that scene where he loses it in the deli is so good. Mickey Rourke is fantastic in this. I can't say more on how good he is. Marissa Tomei as the stripper, she's more than just a stripper, you know what I mean? She is also, again, great chemistry with Randy, or with Mickey Rourke. She's dealing with her own thing. She is a single mom, trying to be a stripper to raise her son, provide for her son. But the problem is she's got her own little story where she's older than everybody at the strip club. You hear her trying to beg for lap dances. Other people are saying, "No, you're too old for us. You could be my mom," type of thing. So she's dealing with the fact that she's too old for the business, you know what I mean? And she's got great chemistry. I love the scenes where, the scene in the bar, where at first, she acts like Mickey Rourke is he's just a job, he's paying her, type of thing. But then they get close, and then she knows she can't cross that line. He finally asks her out she makes the offer to go find some stuff for his daughter, as he's trying to repair that bridge. He finally convinces her to have one beer. He kisses her. She gets into it, and then she pushes him off. And I love how they have that good chemistry, that friendship, but then once he crosses that line, she's like, And he says, "But you promised one beer." So she guzzles the beer, one beer, and she leaves. But what's great is, then they have this fractured friendship. You know what I mean? She's trying to stay in her ground because I think her stripper name is Cassidy, but her real name is Pam. You can call her Pam off the clock, but Cassidy on the clock type of thing. So she's keeping these two worlds separate. But then when Randy realizes that he cannot have her, he starts to be a dick. And you can tell she's uncomfortable. She knows that something's wrong with him. And eventually she realizes that he is what she needs. Now, I don't know if it means like boyfriend or something, but she needs this companionship as well. And I love the final meeting they have together when Randy decides, fuck it. He's screwed up with everybody, because I'm going to get to his daughter in a second. He screws up with everybody. He comes out of retirement for this fight with the Ayatollah, and they have this meeting backstage behind the curtains. And he is fantastic. Marissa Tomei, who I only really know, again, Spider-Man, and like A Different World, a long time ago, and My Cousin Vinny. But what's great about Marissa Tomei in this movie is also just how good her acting is just with her eyes, her body language, you know what I mean? She's sexy as hell. She's great as a stripper, topless and all that stuff. What I love is in that scene when they're basically saying goodbye, is Randy's giving his speech, I mean nothing to nobody unless I'm in the ring type of thing. And she says, "I'm here. I'm here." And that's all she says to him. He goes out, and it's just her face. You see the pain in her face. She knows what's going to happen, and she's so good. Who plays the daughter? Evan Rachel Wood. Name sounds familiar. I think she was the one that was married to Macaulay Culkin. I don't remember. She's really good in this movie. Randy has the heart attack, and he shows up, doesn't tell her initially, and she blows him off. She doesn't care. He tells her what happened. She doesn't care. She's been hurt by this man so much. And I love how they're trying to build this relationship, and she's so standoffish. Rightfully so, because he's fucked up so many times. But she finally comes around. One of my favorite scenes is after he does the whole "I'm a broken down piece of meat" speech. They're walking down the boardwalk, and he's ahead of her, And she hurries up and she grabs his arm, puts her head down on his arm. And the look she gives is such a great look of love. And the look he gives in response is wonderful. They bust into some place under the boardwalk. They dance. And he's giving her a present. She accepts it. And it's nice. But if you know Aronofsky, you know he's going to fuck it up. And he does. And then when Randy tries to apologize and she doesn't buy it, and she's been crying all night, and she says something. She says, like, I don't hate you. I don't love you. I don't like you. Basically. And she just basically says, just go away. I want nothing to do with you. She's doing it in a way where she's not a spoiled brat. You feel for her because she has been on her own. We don't know anything about her mom, but she's been on her own concerning her father for God knows how long. He's always fucked up, and she's just like, enough's enough. Go. And it's a great scene. It's a great scene. He's holding her. He's hugging her. He's like putting her hair out of her face, and she won't even look at him. She's looking that way, not even looking at him. Great performance. Let's get to the action. The action is what it is. You know, I'm a wrestling fan. For Mickey Rourke, bless his heart, does his best. He does some body slams. He does some hurricane ranas and head scissors and stuff like that. I love the death match. You know, like I said, I'm a huge Necro Butcher fan. It's cool seeing that Randy the Ram, they're in a CZW ring. We get barbed wire used. I love the pre-match talk with Necro Butcher. How do you feel about staple guns? Staples? No, staple guns. You know what I mean? It's pure chaos. Glass, barbed wire, tables, staples. And the way it's edited, in between we get to see Randy hurting after the match. Then we get to show some more. We get to show the action. Hurting after the match, getting sewn up. Action. Done really well. The match with the Ayatollah at the end. Ernest Catmiller plays the Ayatollah. And I'm pretty sure Ernest is black. He's playing the Iranian. But that's the business. You know what I mean? I think they did that on purpose because Yokozuna wasn't Japanese. Razor Ramon wasn't Cuban. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. It is what it is. Mickey does okay with that. But him jumping over the top rope, landing, Ernest guides him through, so they do their thing. The only problem is when I have with these matches is like the first match we get to see Randy in. He's fighting whoever the fuck this dude is. We get to learn what blading is, if you don't know what blading is. The problem is Aronofsky focuses too much on Randy taking the blade out and going like that. You know, you got to do a lot faster. You got to like that. And it's just, he's showing the process for people who don't know what blading is. But that's a minor nitpick. Soundtrack, great. Nothing but 70s and 80s, you know, hard rock. Love it. Like, we get some Guns N' Roses. We get some Accept. Quiet Riot. The movie starts out, I love the opening credits. It's all different posters and Pro Wrestling Illustrated of Randy the Ram to Quiet Riot's Bang Your Head. Love it. Great use. Aronofsky is so good with the music. One of the best scenes Aronofsky does is when Randy has to, he's getting ready to work the deli counter. He's got to wear a hairnet, doesn't want to wear a hairnet, doesn't want to wear his name tag. He puts that big fucking mound of hair in the hairnet, and you hear, as he's getting ready, you hear the crowd. You hear the crowd going, and it's this great uncut shot, like one shot, going from the back all the way through the dock area, down the hall. You hear the crowd building, and then you have like the, I don't know, they're not called drapes, but the plastic that's going down to keep like the cool air inside and out. And just like the curtain, when you go through, he goes through the curtain to go into the deli to wash his hands. Crowd is silent. It's also a really, it's a down story because when first thing that happens to Randy after we see his life is he's late with the rent. He's locked out of his trailer. He has to sleep in his van. The only thing he has to do to look forward to is playing with the kids in the trailer park. And they love wrestling with him, but he's got to twist the kid's arm to play Nintendo with them. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. It's very sad. He has no life. The only thing he has is wrestling. And that is what a lot of these, I hate to say, old timers have. They can't get past this, And it's said perfectly when he's going to the VFW and he's signing autographs and you have the one veteran who is missing a leg. You have another veteran who's fallen asleep instead of getting autographs, and no one's there. So you really feel for that era of wrestling veterans who are just they're doing what they can to keep themselves going, and you believe that. And the ending is left up to interpretation. I will not spoil it if you haven't seen it. You can kind of read between the lines what I'm getting to, but I don't think it ended well. We'll leave it at that. However, The Wrestler is a fantastic movie. I love Darren Aronofsky. This, Requiem for a Dream, The Whale. This is probably my favorite of his that I've seen so far. Fantastic performances, fantastic chemistry, great 80s rock soundtrack. It's like Rocky. It's not about wrestling. It just has wrestling in it. It's more about the characters, the story, the ups and downs, the highs and lows. Such a great, great film. Gets to you. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Highly recommend The Wrestler. That's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment below. Hit the bell. Tell me what you think. Have you seen this movie before? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it overrated? Any of that jazz. Few days I will finally talk about the Iron Claw. Lots to process on that. Lots of things to say. But until then, cheers.